Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to the Tomb of the Mad Sun. This is the final one. We got our player here. He is playing Vice. Correct. Name's Vice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything you want to say before? Anything you want to say?
What do you mean?
Okay, good. It it has been 4 years since the revelation of knowledge has happened, where many great libraries and archives of the Prio's faith had been burned down, all seemingly over the course of the night. And through that, given that tragedy, the Ambrians seem to have put themselves forward the perhaps act or pride that it has not affected them gravely, at least to the common folk. And we will be pushing to what seems to be a better direction, as the queen has found herself a relic from an excavation that has allowed her to purify the waters in the river, and has been going through efforts to recover, not recover, but not recover, to distribute clean water to some of the more struggling territories. The and the borders have been able to successfully push and advance forward in further deeper into Davokar with the efforts put forward by especially the territory of Narugor and Saragon. And with things looking alight, we will be taking our look on to Thistlehold, a fort that had been built about a few years prior. A new fort to hold the vast progression in the front lines. And here we will see the start to potential prodigy. We go into the castle walls, or we go into the fort's walls, and we can see that inside there is a nice, well lit and kept garden, and and behind the walls of this garden, a classroom with a small classroom. Right now, five. There's only five students at the current time, and here we can see the most notable of the five is uh, is one of a is one of a girl who appears relatively young, perhaps is in her preteens or early teens at most, and is sitting with a lot of supportive frames or braces around around her waist below. And the other one is, if you would like to give a very brief description of your character, do so. And I ask for brief because this is roughly you about 8 years ago. 8 years prior to when the present time would be.
8 years ago version.
Yes, that's why I'm saying brief, because you don't need to think too much on it, because people usually don't think about attires and whatnot, or how they, at least to personalize. So
I guess we'll do just like short, like straight black hair, blue eyes, and I guess like a well-kept appearance. And I guess I'd be like smaller.
What do you mean it's not available? Are you kidding me? All right. Well, bot's being a bot again. So,
Is the music over?
well, it's more so it's not gonna. It's telling me I can't play what I want to play. So, we're gonna. Remove you and. So I'm just gonna screen share the music if you want to listen into the music as well, but you don't have to.
I think that should be a good volume.
Hmm?
I think that should be a good volume.
Yeah. 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 Okay. That's good. Right. And the professor, or at least, and the tutor is drawing onto is drawing onto the board a brief appearance, a brief shape of what looks like a small insect. And as you continue to write down, he continues to talk about it. Let's see. This what I have drawn onto what I have drawn onto the board is the accurate size, or one of the various sizes, of the overgrown insect which barbarians have chosen to call the spite. And as far as we have come to understand it, its sole existence is to procreate. The creature can be found anywhere in Davokar. You can find them at the borders of the forest if you are unfortunate, and a worse fate if you find them deep underground. These creatures have found themselves the ability to adapt to any situations, and you can find them in small groups or in the thousands. Whatever the case may be, do not let these things bite you. In recent times, the borders have experienced so far only 2 incidents in which a person that has been bitten by them has occurred, and both those instances have resulted in at minimum 3 squads worth of men falling. These things have been known to cause major aggression in the folks, to where they can almost behave like that of a barbarian, but also blah 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 blah. And the lecture continues. Before at some point your father enters the room. Sorry. Oh, I hit myself. Alright, now where was I?
My father entered the room.
Yes, thank you. Your father has entered the room, and everyone in the class gets up and gives him a salute. Apologies, sir. I did not expect you to give such a sudden visit. It's fine. Vice.
Yes, father.
You and Arava, correct? Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, come with me. I'll be excusing from the rest of your lecture today, sir, if you don't mind. Oh, of course not. Go ahead. Remember what I taught you to so far today? And let's see. And so he takes you, and so he leads you guys walking, walking through the garden. So, so Vice, what do you think he's calling us for? Is it practice? Is it practice?
I guess we'll find out.
But what's
There has to be something important to interrupt the lecture, right?
Yeah, but you don't win. But you struggle in in anything martial related.
I mean, I've been trying my best to learn, but
Learning's not the same as experiencing it, and your experiences have not been promising.
I'm trying.
You lost to
Reading
me.
about
You lost to me.
it. Well, reading about it and putting it into action's kind of hard to do.
Well, if you can at least work on your reading and observation, then who knows? Maybe you can at the very least give command. But just understand that if you can't walk the talk, there's some folks that just won't listen to you. That just won't listen to you. Well, and we're here. And you notice that he has taken you to one of his private quarries for work-related matters. I believe you two are. I believe you two are ready for, or old enough for me to inform you as to some of the events to come. So, come on, have a seat.
I'll sit down.
And Miss Anarava, I hope that you do not take offense to perhaps the informality that I may impose, given my position in relation to the Queen. Oh, no, no worries. You were, you became a noble for a reason, and we can only give you, so many gratitudes for your deeds. Well, I believe at best I should inform the two of you, as you both have shown interest in perhaps looking into Davokar and delving further, if not, helping with the, if not with assisting the front lines. And so, son.
Yes, Father.
I must ask of you, what is it that you seek inside Davokar that makes you want to stray further than Thistlehold or what the forts can provide you?
Well, we're tasked with keeping the forest at bay. And I know we don't know everything about what's out there. So I figure it's best to learn what we can.
Especially after all the libraries being burned. We only have the knowledge that the scholars can carry off of memory. And in any recordings that have happened since then. All the churches are stingy with what they want to share also. So... Then, if that is the case, there is something that I wish to share with you. So I've told you before, but for Arava to know, you're familiar with me. I am Sir Baraka, or Baraka, Junio Baraka. You may address me as how you wish. I had participated in the Great War almost 20 some years ago now. And I have served in the Dragonfly Assault Squad, leading as their vanguard. I don't know what has happened to my folks, but one of the things that we have achieved was managing to slay the Dark Mage General. Yes, she went by Palata. And one of her treasures, or one of her treasures, if you will, was her tome. Her tome has caused many casualties and many more blights to have incurred during the war. Many of your possible uncles and brothers, sisters in arms, in class, in citizenship have fallen to that. This book, while we managed to slay her, we have, perhaps in our due negligence in the hubris, perhaps it was in the news that the queen was captured. We have lost possession of this tome. And this tome has carried many powerful rituals in it. some of which can cause catastrophic events that can lead to another war possibly breaking down, or even the fall of Thistlehold as we know it, and perhaps eventually the bordering territories. As we know now, the Dark Lords are still on the search for it. And the Queen has put a bounty on it, alongside with a death sentence should Ambrian be found in possession of it, and has been withholding it. I know not of the descriptions of I know not of the features of the book, at least not anymore. I can't seem to remember it. All I know from speculations is the book, the tome, not only teaches you some of those great witch rules, but it even would allow the common folk to pick up the abilities to cast mystic spells. Though many of the wizards have confirmed at the very least that the tomes in their academies and in their possessions, as far as the license has served them, do not carry such atrocities. But son, I fear that perhaps something that the book may have been found or has been used. The number of blight cases have only gone up in the past, in the following years since the library has burned. So I can only pray that that's only my imagination. But I will entrust you with in your travels something of mine that's kept me alive, at the very least in my youth. And he pulls out a excuse me, that was a hefty one. He pulls out for you a sword. Or more so, perhaps, a dagger or a large knife. Not really a sword at this point.
I'll look over the blade and think.
After unsheathing it, you can assume that it has, at some point, was a longsword, but perhaps due to constant use and sharpening, that it has shortened itself to that of perhaps a knife or a short machete, as you may refer to it. And you can see that it has engraved onto it many signatures of various writings, alongside with his own at the base of the blade. And for you, Arava, I know not. I do not know what could be of a greater gift for you and for your contributions, at the very least, whilst you've been here. From your volunteer work to even trying to befriend my son here. And he grabs out a jar stuffed to the brim with some neon galactic purple shades of flower petals, or at least the head of the flowers inside. Thank you, but I don't think flowers would be presented in such manners, sir. No, it's not. It's nothing like that. This is some medications, at least from. This is some medications that a friend of mine, the one that dropped you, at least the one that suggested for you to come here. He said that these flowers should be able to help you with your condition, or at the very least keep you on your feet, if you will. It took great efforts to find these, but we gathered as many as we can, and we've spared some of the seeds to try and grow some more for you. Thank you. My gratitude cannot be enough to express such a thoughtful and wonderful gift. It's the least I can do. But with that in mind, you two will be admitted into a scouting squad tomorrow. And you two will be assigned to a scouting squad tomorrow, and you guys would be assigned to bring back good results. Be it you come back with the necessary supplies, discovery of some kind, or any clues in regards to what has been in regards to the curse. The curse of which is this. Mind my tongue, madam, but these fucking sprites. The numbers have been rising, but fortunately we've been cautious as to avoid them. Any questions? Any requests? I am more than happy to cater to your needs, at least for now, before I must depart for my next mission.
Do we have any more details on our mission before we head off tomorrow? Or will they let us know?
From what I know, from what I know, let's see. He starts to open up a drawer and he starts to pull up a drawer and storms through some papers. I believe at the very least a recognizable figure will be in your party, so if you do a good enough job, perhaps you might get yourself a promotion or at least a better spot in advancing to your goals. Other than him, let's see. Dr. Rakim will be attending to you. Will be attending with you. Alongside with his nurse. Anything else?
I think that should be about it. I guess I'll go start preparing for the mission then.
One more. I got a question, sir. Yes. What's that? In regards to the missing tome of Palada, what hypothetically speaking, would the punishment be the same for the person in possession of it to be that of a common folk compared to that of perhaps someone within a noble house? Or one that's, or perhaps someone of the military? His Baraka's friendly, his smile drops as he frowns and gives it a thought. I know at the very least that the death sentence is ensured were that the case, and perhaps the incompetence as well. But if it were a noble house, if a noble house was to found in possession of this, I believe that would call forward the need for someone else in relation to the Queen taking up their territory, or perhaps one of the neighboring houses would go forward with their greedy efforts and claim that territory themselves. Forgive my sourness. Everyone's been on edge. Everyone's been on edge with me. And I don't understand why. Surprisingly enough, begrudgingly enough, with the exception of Gadrime. Lousy neighbor. Lousy neighbor's the only one who can talk to me the same way. Suppose that's the bond of being outsiders, but that's a whole nother story. All right. So do come back alive. We will. We will. And I'll make sure he comes back in one piece, sir.
Thank you, Arava.
All right. Clap, clap. You two are dismissed. And so you proceed. You continue to the rest of your. You continue to finish the rest of your class before we transition to. Excuse me. The next the follow we continue to nightfall. And you're in your barracks, sort playing, doing how you wish. Before you start to hear a knock from outside. A knock from your window, that is. Well, more so not a knock, but a bang. Thud, thud, thud,
Just...
thud.
Okay. Do I see anything from that direction, or is it like too dark outside?
You see Arava sort of just hanging onto the ledge of the window, with her head barely above for you to see her.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna open the window then. I guess I'll like quietly open. Oh, actually, no, she's already banging. It's fine. I'm just gonna open the window.
And she crawls herself. She crawls herself up and flips in, and she turns off. And she blows out your. Candlelight.
I see.
Shh, shush. And she closes the window. And she slowly closes the window behind her and occasionally peeks out.
What's going on?
I found out who the person, who that special big shot person is that will be with us in our scouting, and well, I'm familiar. I know who she is, and I don't think it. I need to hide. She cannot find me. Knock, knock, knock. This time not this time through your through your front through your door to your room.
Is there any place that I can hide her?
I mean, there's under the bed, but it's but you don't really have a place. But before you can even think of a spot, and she's already ready, you just hear the voice, voice behind the door. Too late. She deflates. May I come in?
I guess I'll open the door.
And you open the door to see what appears to be perhaps appears to be a middle-aged woman, maybe in her mid to late 30s. Mid to late 30s. You can see that she's carrying. She's armed, carrying a whole plethora of different weapons on her, from blades to bows, crossbows, and even a small, and even perhaps a small book that seems to have a slight glow to it.
Are those all for tomorrow?
Good evening. Good evening, young Baraka.
Good evening.
And good evening. Good evening, Arava. It has been some time. And young Master Baraka, my name is Ling. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Now, I have been informed that you two will be with the will be scouting with me. So she takes a closer look at you and gives a slight grin. Well, good. Well, you're looking healthy. You're looking healthier this time. um. Sorry for sorry for running. There's no need to. There's no need to apologize. You you were never you never needed forgiveness. Though eh, though I still ask though I would still ask of forgiveness on my parts, even if you have. I have a lot of things to handle, but let's see. let's take a look at you. And she starts to, the lady walks forward and starts to squeeze her arms. You're at least keeping yourself in shape. And she goes and turns to you. Vice. You don't. You don't look the combative type. Are you a good runner? Are you a good runner?
I wouldn't say so.
What about shooter? No. Is he good with daggers? No. Magic? No. How's your observation, kid?
Say it's pretty good.
Pretty good, huh?
I'd like to think so, anyways.
What's your vigilant?
13.
13? Alright.
So it's above average.
You know, it's
But I
above
also
average,
don't
and
know
it's
what I'm comparing it to.
Yep. All right.
I also don't know how much of my stuff I have since I'm 8 years behind.
It's fine. All right. She she gives Arava she gives Arava a hug and so just does a like a double hand tap onto your shoulder. Try not to. I hope. I would hope you exceed my expectations, son of the hero. And she closes the door behind her.
I guess I'll whisper to her, but I don't think her bar is that high.
Oh no.
At least not because of me, anyways.
You're the son of the hero, so she has some expectations, not for your sake, but for your more so it would reflect your dad.
Yes, expectations from my father.
And so your performance would reflect him. So therefore, it still reflects you.
Well, got any combat tips?
Run faster. Don't be the slowest person.
No.
That's all I can ask. Say about you. I mean, maybe you could try and get some brownie points. But I don't think she. But I don't think she would be too happy with some methods. But
I think as long as I can prove myself useful, it shouldn't be too bad.
If you can prove yourself useful, and as long as you prove that,
Aren't a burden.
well, the other one is also just as easy. But if if you have been hiding the fact that you can use mystic abilities or mystic powers, that I would hope that you are following the faith of Prios for some of those powers.
Oh, I see.
She's a witch hunter. She doesn't care if you're the sun.
I mean, that's fair. We all have a duty to uphold.
Oh, don't turn into a blight. Third thing. But yeah, good luck.
Good luck to you too.
I can only hope. And she starts to stroll her way out. Stroll her way out the out the room.
Try to get some rest.
Yeah. I'll need it. We'll need it. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Oh no.
Morning, skibbity-doo. Alright, let's see.
Is that a custom cursor?
Yes. It's a custom cursor. And while I do this transition, though, I'm going to be grabbing myself some water. Alright. And so your expedition and your scouting begins. And you can't really count how many, at least at first it was maybe 3-4 days have gone by. And eventually you start to reach a part of the forest where you can't tell when the sun has risen or set. You come to a point where no matter what time of day it is at a constant dim light. It doesn't get any brighter, and it has only gotten dark and darker as you progress deeper into the forest. After this point, you can guess perhaps a week, or about a week or two. No, not a week or two, but a week plus some days may have gone by. Before as you maybe are playing a board game with Arava in the carriage. In a specialized carriage. Not carriage, wagon. Before you hear a HALT! And the pieces to the board game just fly around, thus ending your game as well. But I was winning for once.
I guess I'll look outside if I can. I don't know. Is it like a covered top wagon?
Oh no, it's it's an exposed. I don't know. Not exposed. It was a It's a covered wagon. It's just like it's not like big like a carriage or anything. Kind of like if you put a hood over the. So you're awake now.
Yeah.
With any of the sizable carriages have been used more so for supplies and storage.
I'll peek my head out and see what's going on.
And when you peek out, let me see if I can find it. Because I know I had it. That's what drives me insane. Alright. I can't find it, but I at least have the mental image in mind. So when you take a peek out, you see no longer, at least from behind you, it's still the forest of Davokar, but going forward, you can see that it has now become a vile, dark mire of colors as the forest seems to have become more dense, and you can see that the trees are twisted, and the barks and the colors of them seem to mismatch with itself. And you can see some trees have long since been dead, covered in cobwebs. And just beyond it, you can see a clearing. And after everyone getting off, at this point, the wagons can't squeeze through. As you go through to this clearing, you can see that it has opened up to what perhaps would be the ruins of perhaps one of the past great cities within Davokar. Ones that once belonged to Ambrians, or at the very least, when everyone lived together. The ruins here appear to be well preserved, as the buildings have overall been able to maintain their shape, haven't really broken down. And you can see vegetation, but you do see that vegetation did take over long time ago.
Like the buildings left alone, or are they overgrown?
The buildings are are left alone besides the base of the building.
Oh, that's weird.
But the vegetation seems to, at the very least, the vegetation seems to have at least start its way up. But you can't tell if it's. But yeah, it is unusual. You can't tell if it's due to the presence of someone or something, or perhaps that's there could be more to this ruin. And on the roadway and on the pavement and roadway to on these ruins are hills of skeletons. Some piled up onto the side, some some almost in the shape similar to someone struggling to crawl. Crawl just somewhere in the center, all around. And you spot the usual behavior too. Yes, kid? And you just feel like a book or some stack of paper just tap against your head.
I guess I'll look at the paper or the book. Is this a usual occurrence for something this deep in the forest?
Indeed, kid. Let's see. Here you go. And let's see, Lady Arava, here you go. Blech. Wait, correction on my part. Lady Delmirov, here you go. Thank you. This will be medication for the two of you whilst you're here. Come back. Now, let's see. Oh, these should wear off the effects of at least the local plant life that are around here. And let's see. And here are some antidotes for any possible spiders. Should you encounter them, please retreat immediately. Find help if you can. And if you need any more, need any more medicinal supplies. You can speak to that doctor. You can speak to Doctor. I'm losing my mind. They're at it again. Whatever. You can speak to Dr. Rakim over there. Thank you. All right, so let's see. But what were you gonna say?
I guess I'll look over the I guess the antidote and the, I don't know, like suppression potion I was given. I don't know what to call it.
Think of it as like, think of it as medicine. It's temporary. It's temporary, or maybe short-term vaccine.
Got some immuno boosters from Cyberpunk.
Let's see. All right, so I do not have a. I do not. So as you take a look around, outside of these buildings, you can only take notice that there are a few that it that this town that this perhaps in the town or area that's been preserved has been is relatively large. Say about the area of about the area of our high school. From the fields to the parking lots to the buildings.
Pretty big.
And most of the overgrown and most of the plants here seem to seems to have the same thing where it has only gotten itself around the base of the building, but hasn't caused any cracks. Hasn't grown in between. Hasn't even grown really in between the cracks of the pavement.
Does it like touch the base at all or no?
Of the buildings?
Yeah.
It does. It does touch, but you do. But as you give any kind of examination, they're not. They're not breaking in or enter. They're not breaking in, causing any cracks or erosion. It's almost as though it's decorative.
But like the tops of the I guess the vines or whatever is like growing. It's not cut, right?
Roll me a vigilance check. Roll me a vigilance check.
Oh gosh, okay. I don't know how this works. I gotta roll under, right?
Yep. The DC is your stat, and it will be modified by whatever's deemed necessary. Usually, if the opposition has stats of their own.
One d20. It's just a d20. Ooh, 6.
Alright, you succeed. You know, at some point I should probably change the name of Divine Judgment to Pain instead. Um. But yeah, and this will be this will give passing you. So as you take a look around, it's the plants are growing naturally. At least the plants have grown naturally, and none of them have really been cut into, with the exception of maybe some getting, with the exception of like maybe some getting like a bite, like little bite marks here and there. But usually those are around like patches where it seems to be cultivating fruit, or at least where the plants would cultivate food or some sort of source of nourishment for maybe some of the local animals.
Okay, so it's probably more likely that like the ruins like keep the plants at bay rather than someone coming in and like doing gardening, I guess. For lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you wish to explore one of these buildings?
I mean, I suppose so, right? We are scouting. I don't think we were given any like exact role, right? It was just
For exploring, not not really. Unless you're looking for something, at which point I was already going to use your 6 to keep this momentum going.
yeah, because I was gonna say she didn't say like, oh, go find like herbs or something while we do this. She was just kind of like, yeah, if you need me, call for me or whatever.
And,
so I'll explore the ruins.
And Arava puts her hand on your shoulder from behind. And she hands you a stick. A really long stick.
A really long stick.
Yep. I mean, it's like maybe 2 fists above your head in length, at least. Looks about that. And as you go inside to one of these buildings, as you go inside one of these buildings, you can see that it appears preserved somehow, or at the very least, that the inside of these buildings have not succumbed to being overgrown at all. No mold, no mold, no mold, fungus, roots, vines.
Is it shaped like anything, or is it just like a stick?
It's a stick. It's just it's like a long, I guess, like cleaned out, like cleaned stick. You know, the kind to bop someone with. It's a long straight stick.
Just wanted to make sure. I'm not sure what artifacts and stuff like would look like, magic items and stuff. So I just wanted to double check that it's just weird plant life rather than magic plant life.
If it's artifact or magic item related, like, you will know. Trust me.
Okay.
You will know. This place is well kept. and she just starts and Arava starts to go around and opens up anything closed like chests or drawers in this house in this building. Not a single speck of mess, not even dust.
And it seems like the wildlife has been avoiding this area.
Well, it's not avoiding it enough if it's still trying to close in on this place.
It looks like it'll get close, but not much closer than what it has.
But even then, it's just there's no sign of age. This could be any house. The furniture even looks like even the furniture looks normal.
I'm gonna look at the furniture and see how outdated it is, or maybe advanced. I don't know.
It it looks outdated. It looks outdated at the very least to your standards. It's less so. It's less so, I guess, like furniture per se. It's like a block. It's like a block of. It's like a frame of wood or stone. Frame of like wood or stone, or even like clay. That's using the ground as a base, and someone just puts puts like a means of a cushion or like a blanket or a pillow above it.
Okay.
And it's so it's less about like the clay, or the base, and more so that the cloth hasn't been worn, torn, or even like tossed around. Place looks like the place looks like someone just cleaned up and left the building.
Did you find anything in the chests at all?
Oh yeah, found lots of lovely things. We got some utensils to eat and dine with. We got. Let's see. She starts to rummage through the chest again. We got rolls of threads and needles. And starts to rummage a little bit more. And, well, whatever this is. And she takes out as you take a look at it, it appears to be some sort of small contraption, or yes, like a small trinket of some sort. With it's a cylinder base. It's a cylinder shape with with gears going through and around the top portion of it, all connecting, all appearing to move, or at least would function to move the threads around and in between to sort of floss this gem that's in the center, the bottom center of the cylindrical of the cylinder shape. Cylindrical, is that a word? Whatever. Of the at the bottom.
It's like part of me that wants to mess with it, and another part of me it's like, I don't know, it's a good idea. But I mean, I guess why not, right?
Well, do you know how to work this? Would you?
I want to try to figure it out.
Alright. And give me a cunning check.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it met my thing. I don't know what that does.
For the sake of the prologue, it's roller's advantage, so you pass.
Okay. Does that mean if it meets it normally, it's a fail?
I believe that's how it is. As far as I'm aware of, the system has been like brutal in terms of its rulings. For example, when it comes to combat, it's offender's advantage.
Oh, okay. So if they hit,
So they
or if I have 15 and they hit a 15, then they hit me. Okay.
Yep. And so, as you twist, at least as you give a little nudge around the gears, as you give a little nudge around the gears and see and try and push and twinkle around, you notice that it appears that there is a spot where there is a missing gear to finish this entire thing. And using your 6 earlier, you take a look. You start to juggle, move around the stuff in the chest, and you find the missing gear. And attached to the gear as well, it seems to be what appears to be almost like a small bulb. A small bulb with a couple of what looks to be maybe like bamboo twine or something inside. Connecting with the gear. Fits perfectly to the missing spot. And the mic picked it up, but I don't think Discord did. But you start hearing the grinding of gears and the sound of almost like a puff. Puff before it is followed by the grinding of the gem that's at the bottom.
Oh, okay. It scared me for a second, Stephen.
And as this grinding occurs, you can see a little bit of like just dust and little spectacles from the gem just start to pile flake around, like spread around onto the floor. But this bulb this bulb starts to for a moment flicker, just this bulb flicker, making occasional blinks of light before it stabilizes and is now lighting up this area a lot more.
I guess we found a torch.
Yeah, but she taps the bulb. This isn't any fire.
Imagine it has something to do with this gem.
Or maybe something inside the bulb, but and let's see.
Uh-oh.
And as the light as the light shines, though, you take notice that suddenly suddenly all around you is pitch dark, aside from this light. And as you look, though, the chest is rotten. The chest is rotten alongside with all of the tools, knickknacks, and common everyday items inside. And at the couch nearby, you can see that what was clean and furnished, like cloth and pillows, are now covered. Now have fungi growing out of them, alongside with some black mold that seems to be manifesting underneath.
Is the stick also aged now?
The stick appears normal, and Harava pulls out a blade, or not a blade, pulls out a short sword. Bleh. It's still blade, whatever. She pulls out a short sword. We should meet up with the others.
Yeah, I don't like the way this is turned. But I agree, we should definitely get out of here.
Yeah, and as you approach,
I guess I'll pull out my blade, just in case.
Yeah.
Or I guess my dad's blade.
Yeah. And as you approach the exit, the door is now on the ground. It too is rotten, and as you take a look now, the building, you can now see that around the walls and especially the entrance, the building has been overgrown. Did we? What is this? Don't tell me we traveled forward.
I'm not sure if it's from the light or if something else happened or...
And you can hear screaming from a distance. the scream of someone in horror and agony.
Does it sound like one of the people we were with?
It has to be, right?
I mean, it could be.
You can. Arava pulls out a torch and strikes a flame to burn it, and she tries to wave it around, but the torch is emitting no light. You can see the flames, but nothing else.
The only light we have is from the light bulb.
Yes, from this bulb of light. Yes, this light bulb.
Okay, well, I guess I'm leading the way.
Yeah. Try not to go too fast.
And be prepared to run if anything happens.
Funny. And
Right.
you start to move towards the screen.
Yeah. I'm trying to be as careful as I can be, but like... Is it just like one person or a bunch of people?
It was a scream of one person. But as you do move forward, you start to hear more screams follow up. And as you get closer and closer, you eventually see where the scream was coming from. And you see these large you can see these large bipedal creatures that seem almost part feline and part canine, feasting on one of the folks that traveled with you. And you can see that on its tail, at the end of its tail though, is it opens up almost like a toothy maw, but the sharp fangs around it start to smoothen and look like that of human teeth, and it starts to mimic those screams that you heard earlier.
And there's no one else, right? It's just the one person that got eaten.
That is getting eaten.
Okay, so they're still, like, kind of alive.
Yeah, when you're at the edge of the light, you can see that thing, and it turns, it stands straight up, and it looks towards you. And you see that it has the pattern from its front. It has the patterns and it has the patterns of that of a tiger, but then has almost like a Dober snout. with the exception of its murky gray beady eyes.
Have we learned anything about this at school?
Make me a cunning check.
Oh boy. Because I don't know if this. Well, I don't think it'd be generally weak unless they got to one of the like medics. But even then, I don't think they'd send them out if they couldn't fight too well. Well, 12. Okay. So far, having 15 in cunning has been very helpful.
Was that in image reference?
Oh, it was. Sorry, I was reading the little rules you have up here.
Right? Well, you passed the check regardless.
Oh, I can't delete the message.
I'll delete it. Just know that. I would appreciate it if you don't do this.
I apologize.
Especially in source materials or image reference. So, you learn that this, you recall, at least looking at some of its features, it appears to be some variant of a Vieron.
Yeah.
These creatures are also known as, essentially, the Death Shriekers. Whereas the name implies, it shrieks the dying. Or at the very least, it feasts on... This creature prefers to feast on more conscious or sentient creatures and races, in hopes that they would check up on the dangers of one of their own. And these things like to lurk in the dark, but they like to lurk in the dark. The issue is their natural habitats are caves, or in caves and underground ruins. And not only that, they usually have more reptilian than feline feats.
So this might be like a jungle variant, I guess, rather than like a cave. And was it just one, or did you say two?
These things are never alone.
Oh gosh, okay. And does the book say anything about, like, running away from them?
They prioritize anything with a warm light source. Or a light source which emits heat.
Does the light bulb emit heat or no?
As you put your hand on it, it doesn't seem to be getting hot. You don't even feel warmer holding it.
Is the torch still on, or did she turn it off?
No, she threw the torch. She threw the torch.
Okay.
And you can see as soon as she realized, and as she threw the torch, you can see that this thing starts to stick its tongue out, and the feline part goes back into reptilian, starts to resemble more reptilian again, and it sticks its tongue out, and it turns towards your direction and starts to book it at you, but just goes past you towards the torch. You can hear the sound of more sort of start to scour around that. And you can start to, but you do hear in almost like a low whisper. Hey.
Is that the person on the ground, or?
Baraka. Sir Baraka.
Who's calling out to me?
As you point your light, you can see it's from inside one of the buildings. And you can see that it appears to be a person who is carrying a lot of medicinal supplies on him, and has a green cross wrapped around his arm.
But he's not the guy we traveled with.
He's a doctor. He's a doctor.
Okay, he's a doctor. Okay. Then I'll lead her to him. And I guess like try to move quietly. I'm not too sure. I guess I won't be bothered by the light too much. But I imagine if we do like weird movements or whatever, they'll probably maybe come at us. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And you approach this, or at least you go inside this building, and you can see that it's the doctor, the nurse, and you can recognize that it's the doctor, presumably excuse me. You can assume that it's Dr. Kim. You can see Ling with the heavy with the crossbow, the crossbow and blade at the ready, and the nurse who is trying to calm herself down with her mouth covered.
Nice to know that you guys are safe.
Yeah, well, it might just be only us. It might only just be us. As far as I can see, which is not very far, might I add, but a lot of people fell. We were fortunate enough to have Madame Ling over there be our bodyguard.
I'm gonna look around real quick and see if there's like another chest in this one.
There's no chest there is no chest in this one.
Okay. Is this one also like rotted?
This one is rotted, yes. Rotted and overgrown.
So what happened to everything?
We're currently unsure, but right now, right now with my after some observations and seeing that you are holding that's able to emit light, this has to be the work of some mystic ritual. Maybe not an active, maybe not one that was actively used, but perhaps a ward of some kind. That's one idea. The other idea right now is that this place was a trap. A well-made one at that. No corruption, no concerning levels of corruption were detected. Everything seemed standard. And most of the troops were accounted for, aside from the two of you. At the very least, during the moments before this happened.
I think if we turn the light off, it'll switch back to normal.
Do you did it happen when you activated that?
I want to say it did, right? Like the second it, I don't know if it was like the second it turned on, because I didn't ask for clarification, but did it?
The moment that the light stabilized itself, and maybe after given like a second or two to like look at it, just like, oh, everything went dark. So it's safe to assume, if not, it is too coincidental. But there is the assumption of that, given all of the evidence that you have, or all the things that have happened.
I think it happened once the light source finally got itself sorted out.
All right. She pulls out a small book, and she starts to wave. She starts to wave her hands around her eyes. With the ever continual return of the darkness, let there be sight. And she, you see that you see that there's a slight glow around her eyes. All right, kill the light. I'll make sure nothing hits. I'll make sure nothing hurts us.
Alright. I don't know if there's any off switches, but there's no off switch or anything to like turn it on, and I'll just disconnect the cog.
As you observe it, and as you give it an observation, yeah, there's there's nothing to turn it off really, so you just have to take it off again. So you go and you give a pull, and and as you do, the lights go out, and suddenly there is light again. At least it not light, but the place is about as
It's not, like,
light
dark.
as it's about as bright as it was when you guys first came here. This time though, the buildings really are now overgrown. And you can start to see that these skeletons, the skeletal remains are missing. But you do see the rest of the people who traveled with you, all of them in a all of them with all of them having their necks, guts. All of them were essentially mauled and eaten alive.
Are the tiger reptile thing still out there?
You can see them. Everyone can see them retreating as the light suddenly came on, and you see them burrowing into. You see them burrowing into the sides of one of the buildings. But as you, actually not but you look back at the your little gadget, and you can see that the insides of the bulb are now pitch black, and that the whole contraption is rusted, tattered, and unrecognizable from when you first saw it. And the gem gone.
So I guess that was part of the trap then.
Can you repeat that?
I guess that was part of the trap then.
I guess so. I guess so.
Was this meant for us, or just whoever happened to wander by?
It's hard to say. She gives a glance around though. I believe it's the latter. She. We need to go. Yeah, we need to go now. Yeah, I'm not questioning the professional hunter. I am indeed taking my leave. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on, Tracy. Tracy, who still isn't calm, who still has not calmed down. It can't move.
I try to calm her down.
And when you, so how do you try to calm him down? Like a tap, or what?
Let's see. I guess I'll like grab her hand and then like squeeze it and be like, hey, like, let's get out of here.
And
I'll tell her the lights are back on, you know. But I'll also warn her not to, I guess, look around outside, so hopefully she doesn't see the bodies.
And as you grab her hand, you grab her hand and she feels cold.
Uh-oh. Do I have my medicus stuff yet or no?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
And as you recognize that, you give another look at her, and you can see that there is a mark. That there's a mark on her hand. With your cunning check that you made earlier, there's no mistake. It's a blight mark. There's the only save for her is to kill her before she turns. And be it you in the midst of debating the thought or processing it, an arrow is already shot, and the nurse has been dispatched, subdued.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I imagine once she sees it, she's just gonna.
She, and as that happens, she goes and observe. Ling goes and observes some of the body. Not her. She gets up and starts to scoot him, starts to drag him, everyone else out to join with the doctor.
And then I suppose I'll take my leave.
see. Make me a vigilance check, contested by, with modified by one down. So you got so if your vigilance is 13, you now got to beat a 12.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Nope.
And so, as you guys take your leave and approach the carriage. And so, what happened to Trace? Oh. Okay. She was a good. She was a good. She was a good nurse. It's gonna be a doctor too. It's gonna take half the load off my work. All right. Well, time to burn the next 6 years on a new one. All right. Let's see. Say, kid.
Is he talking to me?
Yes, addressed to you.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm assuming he is, but
You don't look the fighting type. Hey, you want to learn medicine?
I mean, I imagine it would be helpful. Though I don't think I'd be able to save her.
You talking about me?
I'm gonna whisper to her, Tracy.
Look, Tracy. Look, Tracy. She's dead. Okay, but she got me. Right, Ling told me. Light mark, all that stuff. Unfortunate. Unfortunate, and it's also unfortunate for me. All right, it's another 6 years minimum to train someone to even qualify to maybe be a nurse that I can at least leave alone to do stuff while I get out, whilst I get materials. She was about to reach that point too. What? Well, and you hear, and by the time you realize it, you hear the sound of the trees and my branches whistling before you hear a meaty thud, thwack sound, almost followed up by something that almost sounded like a whip before before some shots from Ling that flies past you silences it all.
So I'll look around, or at least like toward the direction the shots were fired.
You can see that it appears to be a Veyron, larger, that was probably double the size of the one that you saw earlier. And and just on the ground, heavily wounded, is Arava.
I guess
arrows and swords. Arrows and a sword. The sword being Arava's.
I'm gonna do what I can to help her.
And so you lift her up and carry her over the arm to the wagon, and you start to make haste your way out. The doctor, on the trip back, the doctor treats her the best he can. But and tries to replicate the braces that were given to her, but it seems that those braces were special.
Were they like magical or?
They were. It was a relic. The relic gave me. The relic gave me the ability to be mobile, or at least the function of the relic allowed a person to be mobile regardless of their condition. Or at the very least, they can at least have an easier time moving, be it if they're paralyzed, caught in cobweb, swimming against fast currents. You can move how you will, even if it's only slight progress.
Is there any more of those, or is it just like a rare thing?
I don't know if there'd be another one. Relics like that are hard to come by. I was fortunate enough to have it be provided by a friend. Even with all the things that cost it, even with all the costs and sacrifices that the trouble they had to get their hands on this for me.
if I ever come across another one, you'll be the first one to get it.
If I would have liked at least one more run before this happened. But no, my last deed was to impale a giant. What was their name again? Whatever that thing is.
Well, the one you took out was a lot bigger than the other ones.
I didn't take it out alone. Ling was shooting at it too.
But you did
Enough
come
to
back alive.
give you the final blow. You got the kill. Alright. And you can see that she is staring into blank space. At least like her direction's facing at Ling, but she appears to be in blank space now. Her thoughts are going elsewhere. With this incident, though, I don't think I can stay here anymore. I'll have to
Where are you gonna go?
I'll have to be transported again.
You know where they're gonna send you?
It doesn't matter. I'll just be sent somewhere else once they're sick of keeping me around. It was a nice few years being here, though. Second longest I've stuck around somewhere.
Well, I'll try to find you after I'm done with all this school, apparently. 6 years is gonna be a very long time.
6 years is a long time, but as you said, it's gonna be a long time. Who knows? If we both stick around that long, if plenty of people out there stick around long enough, things will get better eventually.
Hopefully I'll be at least a little bit better with the blade.
I think I'd rather you be a good shot
I guess we'll see which one I'm better with in the long run. At the very least, I'll be able to treat some wounds.
And as you head home, and begin your reports, and offers the you can see the exhaustion, perhaps the exhaustion, sorrow, guilt, mix of emotions from your father, and surprisingly also from Ling, as they try to comfort her, and over the next few days she eventually finishes finishes packing, alongside with probably the remainings of what the teacher could provide before before the two of you say your final partings. Give your final partings. And we will go we will go 8 years into the future. It's been 8 years now since it's been 8 years since then, and you've now it's been 8 years now, and you have gone and given your experiences and tutelage from Dr. Rakim for the 6 years as per agreed, but at least after the 6 years, he considered you at least you went with novice, right? Or did you go for adept on medicine? Let me see.
I went for novice.
Okay. To where you've become a novice, and after those 6 years, he essentially disappeared. And after another 2 years, have gone by, where do you see your character? What do you see your character doing? Or at least, actually not not that question. That this isn't session 1. This is session 0. We go into Thistlehold yet again, and this time we are in a museum. We're in the museum slash almost almost as a pseudo means of a display within the fortress. But rather than for two, it's on the side for folks that come by to see. It also serves as a means to observe and research on some discovered treasures and relics that have been found in the ruins in recent years. And here we can see an older vice observing looking over alongside with some other folks in the that works there, looking into the large filter relic. Have you found anything unusual over there, Vice?
Let's just be that. Because doesn't the queen have like the only one?
Yes, queen has the only one. This is the filter. We've been told to inspect it, as there could be some supposed issues or impurities happening, but but that is for us to figure out. Now, have you found anything unusual on your side?
I'll look it over for any abnormalities or defects, I suppose.
Give me a cunning check.
Hey, let's go.
Alright. Giving a look around, you don't see any no issues on your end.
Everything looks fine on this side.
Yep. Clean over here as well. No, I don't see the issue. If there's a problem with the filter, you can just go back to how you did it before. Just Just boil the water. Oh well. I guess people crave the easy accessibility of this. We'll hold it on. We'll hold it on for a bit longer, just to give the impression that we gave a thorough inspection. You're free for the day, Vice.
All right. Well, if you need help with any other matters, let me know.
He gives a nod and goes back to writing.
I suppose. Are we like? Where are we exactly?
You're in Thistle Hole.
Like which? Like are we in like a library or anything? Or
you're close by to the library, but in terms of your exact location, you're around the central part.
okay, then I guess I'll go to the library and see if there's any. I guess maybe like notes on like relics malfunctioning.
And you head into the library, and in there you can see the doctor sort of twirling around a pencil as he's reading a book. And as you come in, he notices you. Ah, Vice. Yeah. It's been years. He gives a tight hug.
Oh no. I'm glad to see you're doing well. It kind of surprised me when you just up and left.
Yeah, I've after some recent news that was put onto me, I've become a personal doctor. A personal doctor for someone, but still helping people around when I can. And
Sure, they're quite lucky to have a doctor like you.
I know. And I'm sure that if you wish to continue with your training, that perhaps you would like to come with me. We are in need of more medical hands.
I wouldn't mind helping people out.
And besides, I heard that besides, you'll get to meet a friend you haven't seen in a long time.
How long are we talking? Like med school?
you'll know. They, I checked in my days off to surprise them with your arrival.
I see.
And not to mention, I'm here because of some of the local fauna. Thanks to your father, I can at least on occasion come by with the medicine that's needed.
Well, then I guess I shouldn't keep them waiting.
Besides, with you there, you can help me keep you can help me keep an eye on a certain troublemaking woman. Her condition's terrible. Like, ugh, absolutely terrible. Like, she is tempting fate. You know that? It's not some mortal injury. No, it's with me. It's with using mystic powers. Okay. And I swear to God, one of these days she's gonna end up like Tracy. And he sort of just and continues this tangent as as the camp as the what you call it as the camera fades, and we will continue with your standpoint with the next session. Or with your first session.
Oh man, the session 1.
It'll be episode 2, technically, but yeah. All right, so all right, everyone. I'm gonna say bye to the camera. Bye bye.
Bye, camera.